It's 2000, 2001. I'm in English class, grade 12, and I have a crush on the girl beside me. And she says, I'm going to be the director of the school musical. I said, well, then I'm going to be the lead in the school musical. She said, no, you're not. And then I auditioned, and I became the Tin Man in the High School Musical, The Wiz. Showed her. One of my dad's friends saw me in that musical and sent him something they found online. It was an audition for a reality show. But what is a reality show? Big Brother 1 had happened in the United States, and Canada's response to Big Brother 1 was a reality show called U8TV.com, The Lofters, where 8 Canadians are going to live on camera for a year. And I look at this audition, look at it, it's like, filled out the form, thought, why not? My mom sent in a VHS tape of me on Speaker's Corner. Sent it in, and then I went off to Carleton to study criminology. I was a young 19-year-old punk smoking weed, didn't care about anything. I was studying criminology because I was like a criminal. So I was like, oh, I'll study criminology. That sounds like suitable. A few months later, I got a call that I'm one of 50 finalists on this show to live on camera for a year. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy, but you don't want to consider it. And back then, we didn't know what reality TV was yet, So it was like, what is this even? A couple months later, I get another call. You're one of 25 finalists to be on this reality show. We're going to fly you to Toronto. It's at Global Backpackers, which used to be at Spadina and King. We lived for 2 days, went through the audition process, went back to school. Thought nothing, I was like, I'm not going to get on the show. All those people were extroverts and crazy, and I'm not going to get on the show. I'm lying in my residence room, and I get a call from a producer. And he says, hey, Dave, it's, whoever. We have one last question. Are you willing to jerk off on camera? That should have been the first red flag for what I was getting into. I'm lying there, I'm stoned, I have nothing to lose, and I'm like, jerk off on camera? I'll jerk off all over your face. He said, we'd like to welcome you to live in the loft. I lived on camera for a year of my life. We move in, it's the most unbelievable thing. I leave university. My dad says, if you're going to go on camera, never drink. You want to be in a sober state of mind the whole time. My roommate goes, if you're going to do this, just be John Lennon. I don't even know what he meant by that. We move in. It's Arissa Cox, Jen Hedger, Mathieu Chantal Watt, Trevor Smith, Valerie Gagne, Sandy Medeiros, Kaylin Heyman. Kaylin's right there at the bar. Dave Keystone. I'll be able to rhyme those names off for the rest of my life. We lived on camera for a year of our lives, back when Richmond Street was Club District. We were between Fez Boutique and G-Spot. Right downtown, there was a billboard of our faces up. It was the most unbelievable thing. There were TTC posters of you right away. You're an instant celebrity. People taking pisses in washrooms, looking at a picture of your face. There were TV screens downstairs when you used to walk by on Richmond Street, and the TVs were showing you what was going on upstairs in the loft. It was the craziest thing ever. There were people on computers. When you open your computer, people could watch the loft. And so there were always people chatting and watching you. And they were like, and it was 24/7. So you wake up at like 4 in the morning, you just open your computer. There were always 50 people online. We called them chatters. It was like, Dave, what's up, man? What's going on? Saw Kaylin was talking shit about you, man, blah. And they're like following your lives. It was the craziest thing. It was on TV. It was on TV 6 days a week, but there were 4 new episodes a week for a year. 4 new episodes a week. After Extra, before Martha Stewart on the Life Network. Back before digital cable, right? There were only 52 channels. This was a big deal at the time. Canada's first reality show. I'm there. People always ask, are reality TV real? Is it real? Well, you were a jerk for half the day, potentially, and a nice person for half the day. And so, I don't know why I looked at you and said that. I apologize. But anyways, so it's whatever they shot is whatever they can choose. All of us have different sides to ourselves, and so they can choose to air whatever they want of you. I was sort of typecast as like a young punk, didn't really care, nothing to lose, calling people out for things, and that was true. I didn't know what I was doing. This got me out of university, like $30,000 to just what? Be myself? The first interview I did was with John Frusciante. I didn't know anything about, he was from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I didn't know nothing about the guy. I just went and like, oh, I'll talk to a Red Hot Chili Pepper. That sounds cool. I knew nothing. I was the kind of guy where and it was so beautiful when you're living on camera. You're yourself, but you're yourself knowing that you're on camera. So like a big tough guy comes, like this guy Trey wanted to start a fight with me. At any other time in my life, I would have run away. But it's like, cameras are rolling, bro. Let's do this. Whatever you want. Hit me. This is great. It'd be great TV. So I was that guy, I wasn't trying to start trouble, but I would never pass it up. It's like always ready to go. You want to go? Let's go. And there were always people in the control room. And so you could always like call out to the control. There are cameras everywhere. Like, is someone in the control room? And then a camera would like nod yes. And you'd be like, let's do this. So it's unbelievable. So you're on camera for a year of your life. So much, and it's like celebrity. Like people knew who you were and signing autographs, taking pictures. And then ready, 365 days, and it ends abruptly. You're living on the show for a full year of your life. So much attention, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much attention there was on you. And it just ends the next day, you're not in the loft anymore. And it's like, what do you do? You know, what do I do? What do I do? I go try to audition for Much Music. They handed me a stack of 50 CDs and said, go home and learn these CDs. And like, I didn't care that much about music. And I wasn't really an actor. I was just sort of myself on this show. You know, what am I going to host? What am I going to do? People, everyone, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? Wherever I went, people, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? I don't know, what am I doing? Jen was on TSN like pretty soon thereafter, but Jen always loved sports. And then she became an anchor on TSN. That made so much sense because she knew what she wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it was so overwhelming that I got a job date stamping donuts in a freezer north of the city by myself, 9 to 5 for 3 months. The managers couldn't understand why I was like so happy to be there. I was like date stamping donuts by myself, put earplugs in, take a drag of a joint at 7 a.m. and just date stamp donuts all day. And they were like, "Why this guy? He just loves this." And I'm like, "This is great. Let me just fucking do this, man." And they didn't know the show. They had no idea what I was like fighting. And then I went back to Oak. I was like, I'm going to try to do some myself. So I went to OCAD and I studied integrated media. And then I production assisted for a while. And it just wasn't really working out. The first time I ever talked on a microphone, I was a strip club MC for 2 months. And I was comfortable talking on a microphone in front of people because I was like sort of in a booth. It's like, that's right, gentlemen. You know, it's like you're behind the scenes. Then I went back to school. I studied industrial design because I love design and I didn't know what to do. And I realized through studying design that I'm actually a good communicator and presenter. I was better at presenting my designs than even the designs themselves. All the while, I was helping run summer camps and I was hosting like bar and bat mitzvahs and corporate events here and there for a company. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I created something for the summer camp called Waha TV because the camp was called Wahanoan. So I created something where like we're on the dock with the kids so the parents at home could see what's going on, like a YouTube channel. It's like, here, we're little Jimmy, how's the dock? You know, how's it going in summer, you know? Created this show. And then there was something lingering inside of me, though, about living on a reality show that I couldn't fight. And I still can't fight it to this day. I'm sitting in the loft. And I'm watching the show, and it's me on the show, and they're doing an episode about mice in the loft. There are mice in the loft. And everyone's like, oh, mice, and they're putting out poison. And they interviewed me about it. I'm like, the mice in the loft, the poison's not working. The mice are sniffing the poison behind my bed. I'm feeding them. They're on their own reality show. I see them at the clubs. Just don't worry about the mice. And I saw this, and it was like funny to me. I made myself laugh. But not trying, like I'm sitting there, I was like laughing. I laughed hysterically, whatever it was I said. And I saw something there, and I was like, like that hit me really hard. That I've been fighting for almost my entire life since then. And so about almost 2 years ago, I thought to myself, I'm going to try to like, I'm going to drop this. I'm not going to host events my whole life, and I'm going to run a summer camp. I want to get back to that, you know? It's still like, what did you do? What did you do? You know, it's a poison in me. And so I decided, you know, I tell my parents, I'm going to drop it all. And I'm going to go and I'm going to try to get back into it. And so I read a blog. When the penny went out of circulation, I wrote an article and it was published in a whole bunch of newspapers. And then I started Sex on the Street TV. I'm like, I'm going to host my own show these days. You can do it and put it on YouTube. So what topics do I want to talk about? And I thought most of them had to do with sex. And I was like, I'll start something called Sex on the Street TV. I started putting it online. And then people started thinking of me as a host. And then a friend of mine a year ago went to audition for a YTV show called Cooked. And he goes to the show, and who does this? He went to the audition, and he said, I have a buddy who'd be a better host for this. And he sent me to the audition, and I got the show. Right now, there's a show called Cooked on YTV. I'm the host of it. And I'm back on a studio. I'm back in studio, and it's unbelievable. I'm like, I'm back there. And I'm like, and now I'm a kids show host, but whatever, I'm there. I'm here. I'm back. I'm back on network television. I learned 3 things from this whole experience. The first is I do believe that preparation meets opportunity. I was not prepared when I was 19 for what was happening. People said, what did you do? What did you do? I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was like running scared. And I wished that I had that opportunity today, but I wasn't ready for it. And when I went to do this Cooked audition for YTV, I knew kids, I had hosted, I was ready for that show. I also learned that I do believe that what you put out, you get back in the universe, maybe. Because I was putting out, I'm just saying, like, I'm not like, ooh, you're going to put back. Like, I don't know about that, like, spiritually. But, like, through social media these days, you can put out and be whatever you want to be. I was putting out that I'm a host and just pumping that out. And I'm a host. And then somehow it came that now I'm a host, right? It just happened like that. Unbelievable. Whatever you want to do and put out in social media, just put out that you are the specialist in that area and that's what you do. And things will come to you in that world, I promise. And the third thing I learned that if you have this passion, this thing, when I saw that episode when I was 19 years old, I could cry right now thinking about it. It has just, it's been like, I need to get that back somehow, and it's been sort of in me ever since. And so I believe that if you have some passion that's just in you and some gut instinct, just go with it, because that year was up. That year was up. When I was putting out Sex on the Street TV, that year was up, man. And I was like, my dad's like, how are you going to make money? And I'm like, Dad, this is what I got to do. I don't know. And then it took 3 months. I pushed even further. And 3 months in, I then got the audition. 3 months after the year, I got that audition and got on that TV show. Here's a couple quick things. One thing that's amusing about being a host of TV shows and stuff is people always ask me, so you're a host of a TV show. How do you get into that? The truth is, I had a crush on a girl. And that's how it all started. She put me on this thing, and there's a bing, 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 dots align. And now this is what, I don't know. I had a crush on a girl. Second thing that's amusing about being a TV show host is that people say to me all the time, they say when I'm in small talk with people and they say, like, what do you do? It's so easy to say, I host a TV show. And that's just beautiful. Boom, conversation's over. I have no anxiety about what I host a TV show. Sounds kind of cool to people. It's like, okay. But what's interesting is that when I'm talking to someone who I really care about, when they say, so how's the show? Because that's the next question anyone asks in my life now. How's the show going? I shot it a year ago. And when I'm honest with them that I shot it a year ago, the first thing out of their mouth is what? So what do you do? So what are you doing now? You know? So what's now? Like this expectation, but now I'm an adult and I can handle that. I think that's the story of my life in entertainment. Thank you for listening to this story. I'll close with this. On the show, there was, the show's slogan was uetv.com, the lofters. This is our reality. And I was going to come here tonight, it was under the impression that I was going to come here tonight and talk about being on a reality show. And I could tell you about some of the quirky, cute little fun things about being on a reality show. Like when I used to smoke weed, the cameras would move and I'd like dodge under the camera and like hide. You know, there's so many little funny things about living on a reality show. But I realized through thinking about all this and what that reality show did to me in my life and the trajectory that it sent me on to today, to being here today, this was my reality. So thank you for listening.